Welcome to our chilling countdown of the top 15 haunted cemeteries in Mexico. From ghostly apparitions to eerie whispers, these burial grounds are steeped in dark legends and supernatural tales that will send shivers down your spine. Get ready for a spine-tingling journey into the heart of Mexico's most haunted resting places. 1. Panon de Balin, Guadalajara. In the heart of Guadalajara lies the legendary Panon de Balin, a cemetery shrouded in mystery and haunted whispers. By day, it's a serene resting place, its ancient tombstones and Gothic architecture standing as a testament to the passage of time. But by night it transforms into something far more sinister. They say the ghost of El Niño del Tambor, the drummer boy, still roams these grounds. His story is tragic. A child taken too soon, whose drumbeat echoes faintly in the distance when the air grows still. And then, there's the chilling tale of the vampire tree. An ancient tree rumored to grow from the grave of a blood-drinking monster. Locals swear that its gnarled branches pulse with unnatural life, and those who dare to touch it feel an icy grip tighten around their hearts. Visitors often report hearing faint cries, seeing shadowy figures dart between gravestones, or feeling an unexplained chill that leaves them paralyzed with fear. Once you step foot into the Panon de Balin, you may leave, but some say a piece of your soul stays behind, trapped among the restless dead. 2. Panon San Fernando, Mexico City. Nestled in the heart of Mexico City, Panon San Fernando is more than just a burial ground. It's a realm where the past refuses to rest. By daylight, this historic cemetery stands as a monument to Mexico's illustrious figures, including presidents, generals, and artists. But when darkness falls, the air grows heavy, and whispers of the dead fill the night. Legend has it that the spirit of Benito Juarez, one of Mexico's most revered leaders, can still be seen wandering among the graves, his solemn figure bathed in a ghostly glow. And then, there are the eerie laments of mourning women, echoing through the shadows, though no one is ever there. Some visitors have felt unseen hands brushing against their shoulders, or found themselves frozen, locked in place by an inexplicable chill. Others claim to have glimpsed faceless apparitions standing silently among the tombs, their presence a reminder that history can haunt as much as it can inspire. Do you dare walk among the restless souls of San Fernando, where every shadow tells a story and every whisper chills the bone? 3. Panteon General, Oaxaca. In the ancient city of Oaxaca, where life and death are celebrated in equal measure, lies the Panteon General, a cemetery that is as beautiful as it is terrifying. By day, its grand mausoleums and intricate carvings draw visitors who marvel at the artistry. But as the sun sets, the vibrant colors fade into darkness, and a sinister energy awakens. This is the final resting place of countless souls, yet many say not all have found peace. Ghostly figures are said to drift between the graves, their forms barely visible in the moonlight. Some hear faint weeping, carried on the wind, while others feel an unnatural chill as they pass by the oldest tombs. One chilling story tells of a young bride buried here long ago, whose specter wanders the cemetery in her wedding dress, searching endlessly for her lost groom. On certain nights, those brave or foolish enough to linger claim to see her reflection in the glass of the chapel windows, staring back with hollow, unblinking eyes. Would you risk stepping into Panteon General at night, where the beauty of the past hides the horrors of the restless dead? 4. Cementario de Dolores, Mexico City. Hidden amidst the sprawling chaos of Mexico City lies Cementario de Dolores, the largest cemetery in the country and a labyrinth of sorrow and shadows. Beneath its vast expanse, countless souls rest, or so it seems. By daylight, it is a solemn tribute to the dead, with endless rows of graves stretching as far as the eye can see. But as night descends, The air grows thick with an oppressive silence, broken only by whispers no living soul dares to claim. Legends speak of shadowy figures roaming the grounds, their forms flickering in and out of sight like dying candles. Visitors have reported hearing mournful cries coming from graves long forgotten and feeling unseen eyes watching their every move. One tale recounts the ghost of a grieving mother who wanders the cemetery, clutching a tattered photograph, her face obscured by a dark veil. Those who approach her swear they hear her whispering names, sometimes their own. Even the bravest explorers leave this place with a sense of unease, as if something unseen clings to them, desperate to escape its eternal prison. Cementario de Dolores is not just a resting place, it is a realm where the veil between the living and the dead is impossibly thin. 5. Panteon Inglés, Real del Monte. Perched high in the misty hills of Real del Monte, the Panteon Inglés is a haunting relic of Mexico's mining history, where English settlers buried their dead far from home. Encircled by towering pine trees, the cemetery feels like a place lost in time, its iron gates creaking with every gust of wind. But what truly chills the bone are the stories whispered by locals, stories of curses and restless spirits. The most infamous legend is that of Richard Bell, whose grave lies isolated at the edge of the cemetery, facing away from the others. They say he was cursed after a life of wicked deeds, and his ghost roams the grounds, unable to find peace. On foggy nights, visitors claim to see a shadowy figure near his grave, its eyes glowing faintly in the dark. The graves themselves seem alive, covered in moss and surrounded by a perpetual chill, even on the warmest days. Some say they've heard faint singing, as if the long-dead miners were calling out from their eternal rest. The Panteon Inglés is more than a cemetery. It's a place where history breathes, curses linger, and the dead refuse to be forgotten. 6th. Cementario Municipal de Guanajuato, Guanajuato. In the heart of Guanajuato, a city famed for its colorful streets and eerie legends, lies the Cementario Municipal, a place where the line between the living and the dead blurs. It is here that the famous mummies of Guanajuato were unearthed, their twisted, desiccated faces forever frozen in expressions of horror. But the terror does not end with the mummies. This cemetery harbors even darker secrets. As night falls, the air grows icy and the whispers begin, soft, mournful voices rising from the crypts. Visitors have reported the feeling of unseen hands brushing against them and glimpses of shadowy figures darting between the graves. The most chilling tale is of a woman in black, her face veiled, who is said to wander the cemetery's oldest sections. Those who follow her are met with a horrifying sight, her veil lifted to reveal a skull grinning beneath. Even the living seem cursed here. Grave diggers tell stories of inexplicable noises coming from beneath the earth and tools disappearing as if spirited away. The Cementario Municipal de Guanajuato is a place where death feels disturbingly alive. 7th. Cementario de Mascota, Jalisco. Tucked away in the remote town of Mascota, Jalisco, lies a small cemetery cloaked in an unsettling silence, the Cementario de Mascota. During the day, it feels like any other resting place, with its modest headstones and weathered crosses. But as the sun dips behind the surrounding hills, the true nature of this place awakens, shrouded in shadows and whispered fears. The locals speak of ghostly monks, their spectral forms drifting through the graves, their chants echoing faintly in the cold night air. They say these monks were cursed for a betrayal long forgotten, forever bound to the cemetery's soil. Stranger still are the phantom lights, glowing orbs that appear suddenly, floating between the tombs before vanishing as quickly as they came. Visitors often describe an oppressive heaviness, as though unseen eyes are watching their every move. Some have even claimed to hear the mournful cries of a child, though no such grave can be found. The Cementario de Mascota is not merely a place of rest. It's a realm where the past refuses to sleep. Would you dare confront the spirits lurking within? 8. Panon de San Juan de Dios, Guadalajara. Deep within the bustling streets of Guadalajara lies the Panon de San Juan de Dios, a cemetery steeped in sorrow and haunted by tales of lingering spirits. By daylight, it seems unassuming, its cracked tombstones and crumbling walls blending into the city's rhythm. But by night, it transforms into a place where the shadows breathe and the air hums with a sinister energy. One of the most harrowing stories is of La Niña Fantasma, the ghost of a young girl buried here centuries ago. Locals claim she appears near her grave, a small, pale figure clutching a tattered doll. She is said to call out softly to passers-by, her voice eerily sweet, luring them closer. Those who approach speak of her form dissolving into mist, leaving behind only the echo of her laughter, a sound so chilling it stays with them for days. Visitors also report flickering lights among the graves, cold gusts of air on still nights, and the sensation of being followed by unseen eyes. The Panon de San Juan de Dios is not just a resting place but a stage for the restless dead, where each tomb tells a story of sorrow, tragedy, and unending torment. 9th, Cementario de Santiago Tianguistenco, State of Mexico. In the quiet town of Santiago Tianguistenco, the Cementario de Santiago sits as a somber relic of time, its weathered headstones and crumbling mausoleums whispering tales of lives long gone. But as the moonlight casts eerie shadows across the graves, this unassuming cemetery takes on a far more sinister presence. The most chilling legend is of the ghostly children said to haunt the grounds. Locals claim to hear the sound of laughter, soft, playful, and out of place, echoing through the stillness of the night. Shadows of small figures dart between the tombstones, always just out of reach. The bravest who have ventured close to the graves of these children report hearing whispers in the wind, calling them by name. One tale speaks of a child's toy, left on a grave, that mysteriously moves overnight, found in a different spot by morning. Some visitors leave small offerings, hoping to appease the restless spirits and avoid taking an unwelcome guest home. The Cementario de Santiago Tianguistenco is not just a place of mourning, it is a playground for the unquiet dead. 10th, Cementario de San Sebastian, Veracruz. Nestled along the coastal town of Veracruz, the Cementario de San Sebastian is shrouded in mystery and fear. The cemetery has been the site of many unexplained events over the years, with locals often reporting strange glowing lights floating above the graves at night. Some say they are the spirits of sailors lost at sea, forever trapped in the limbo between the living and the dead. Others speak of a tall, dark figure seen walking along the cemetery's pathways, its face never fully visible, always vanishing when approached. This eerie place is said to be haunted by the restless souls of those buried in the most ancient sections, and a heavy, unsettling atmosphere lingers in the air. Visitors who have ventured there after sunset describe a deep, pressing silence that is almost suffocating, and the feeling of being watched from the shadows. Cementario de San Sebastian is not just a place of rest. It is a threshold where the dead refuse to remain silent. 11th, Panteón Viejo de Tzintzuntzan, Michoacán. On the shores of Lake Pátzcuaro, in the ancient town of Tzintzuntzan, lies the Panteón Viejo, a cemetery shrouded in the legends of the Purépecha people. Its graves, scattered among overgrown grass and twisted trees, hold stories of a forgotten past. But it is what happens after dark that gives this cemetery its chilling reputation. The locals speak of ghostly lights, bright, flickering orbs that dance over the graves, as though the spirits themselves were rising to greet the night. Some say these lights guide the lost souls of the departed, while others believe they are omens, warning the living to stay away. The most haunting legend is of a shadowy figure cloaked in black who appears near the oldest tombs. Those who approach hear a low, guttural whisper that freezes the blood in their veins. Visitors have described feeling a strange pull, as if unseen hands were urging them deeper into the cemetery's heart. Some claim to hear faint chanting in an ancient language, carried on the wind from the nearby ruins. The Panteon Viejo de Tzintzuntzan is not merely a place for the dead. It is a sacred, haunted ground where the spirits of an ancient world linger. 12th, Panon de Mixquic, Mexico City. Deep within the quiet village of Mixquic, where life and death intertwine, lies the Panon de Mixquic, a cemetery renowned for its vibrant Day of the Dead celebrations. But when the candles burn out and the marigolds fade, the air grows heavy with a different kind of energy, one that chills to the bone. Locals tell of shadowy figures seen wandering the cemetery long after the living have left. Some speak of La Novia Perdida, the ghost of a bride who died on her wedding day. She is said to appear dressed in her tattered gown, her face hidden beneath a veil. Those who see her claim she silently follows them, only to vanish when they turn to look. At night, whispers rise from the graves, faint voices calling out names, and cold gusts of wind sweep through the tombstones, even on still evenings. A strange, otherworldly light sometimes flickers among the crypts, its source unknown. The Panon de Mixquic is more than a symbol of Mexico's rich traditions. It is a place where the veil between the worlds grows thin and the dead walk among the living. 13. Cementario de Mitla, Oaxaca. Nestled in the ancient town of Mitla, Oaxaca, lies the Cementario de Mitla, a cemetery surrounded by whispers of the supernatural. This burial ground is far from ordinary, standing on land once sacred to the Zapotecs, where the veil between the living and the dead is believed to be dangerously thin. As dusk falls, an eerie stillness settles over the cemetery, broken only by the occasional rustling of leaves. But it's what you can't see that haunts the place. Locals tell tales of restless spirits roaming between the stone tombs, their footsteps faint but unmistakable, as though the dead are never truly gone. One haunting story speaks of a spectral figure, a priest dressed in ancient robes who can be seen walking among the graves late at night, his face obscured in shadow. Those who have dared approach report feeling a sudden, overwhelming sense of dread, as if they were intruding on a sacred and forbidden place. The most chilling phenomenon, however, is the strange light that appears on moonless nights, glowing softly between the tombs, leading those who follow it into the heart of the cemetery, only for it to disappear before they can reach it. The Cementario de Mitla is not merely a resting place, it is a threshold between worlds. 14. Panteon de Sayula, Jalisco. In the quiet town of Sayula, Jalisco, lies the Panteon de Sayula, a cemetery that seems to hold its breath as dusk falls. Known for its eerie stillness, this graveyard is home to whispers and chilling tales of restless spirits who refuse to rest. By day, the cemetery may appear peaceful, with its aged tombstones and faded flowers, but as night falls, an unsettling presence creeps over the grounds. Locals speak of the spirit of the bride, a spectral woman in a wedding gown who is said to appear at the foot of her tomb at midnight. Her face is pale and veiled, her figure flickering in and out of sight. Those who have dared to approach her grave report feeling an icy chill, as though the very air around them is alive with sorrow. Some say they can hear the faint sound of wedding bells ringing, though there is no celebration, only an eerie silence that follows. Others speak of an ancient, forgotten tomb that exudes a strange, magnetic energy. Visitors claim to feel inexplicable pressure in their chest as they stand near it, as though the weight of the past is too much to bear. The Panteon de Sayula is a place where the dead linger too long. their presence as palpable as the night air. 15th. Panteón de las Momias de Encarnación de Díaz, Jalisco. In the eerie town of Encarnación de Díaz, Jalisco, lies the praying Panteón de las Momias, a cemetery that holds more than just the dead. It holds the preserved mummified remains of those who were laid to rest there. The hot, dry climate of the region caused the bodies to naturally mummify, leaving behind a haunting spectacle of lifeless figures that seem to watch over the living. But it's not just the sight of the mummies that chills the blood. Locals speak of an ancient curse that hangs over the cemetery. Visitors have reported hearing footsteps behind them, only to turn and find no one there. Others describe the sensation of being watched by the unblinking eyes of the mummies, their expressions frozen in time, yet disturbingly lifelike. Some claim that if you stand still long enough, the air grows thick with an oppressive weight, as if the spirits of the dead are trying to communicate. The most chilling story is of a man who once stole a small trinket from one of the graves, only to return to the cemetery days later, his body covered in strange, unexplained burns. The Panteón de las Momias de Encarnación de Díaz is a place where the dead are preserved, but not at rest. So would you dare to visit any of these haunted cemeteries? Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, these places remind us that the line between the living and the dead can be dangerously thin. Let us know which one gave you the creeps the most in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more eerie adventures.